Right, well, we're going to have a look at the paper that you took for your Year 9 IT assessment and work our way through it. So we're going to start with Section A. Section A will always be a series of very short questions. So let's have a look at question 1. Figure 1 shows part of a PERT chart. That's one of those with the circles joined by arrows. Create the deliverable product. Test the deliverable product. During which phase of the project life cycle do these tasks take place? So when do we make the product and test it? And that's done during, number 1, the execution phase. Execution, when we make the product. Number 2. You have been given a visualization diagram to help you plan a project. Identify one advantage of using the visualization diagram and one disadvantage. So a visualization diagram is where we draw out a diagram showing pictures of how the product's due to be made. So advantages of that would be that you can clearly see how the product will be developed because you're looking at it in a diagram form. It also means that you can see the actual product itself. So probably the easiest advantage to describe for visualization is that it shows you what the product will look like. Shows what the product will actually look like. So all the other types of shows what the product looks like. All the other methods that you use might well contain lots of sort of diagrams and charts and things. This one actually shows you the real thing as it's done. Now, what's a problem with visualization diagrams? Well, while it shows you a product being made, it doesn't show you any timings. So it doesn't show timings. You could also talk about the fact that in a visualization diagram you can't see which parts can be done at the same time as each other, or who's allocated to actually do any particular task. Number 3, you have collected information from a client. What is meant by the term information? Now we've got to be very clear here. Information is a specific term when we talk about it in IT, information technology. Data and information are two different things. So information is data. Data are the raw facts. Data that has been processed. In other words, you have done something with the data. It's no good just talking about names and addresses and so on. The data has been processed. In other words, something's been done to it to give it a meaning. So, for example, data might be the marks in an exam. You could process those marks into grades, and that gives it a meaning by showing you how well you've done. So the two important things are that the data must be processed and it must be given a specific meaning. Another example might be the number 23. 23 is a piece of data, but if I tell you by processing it that this is the temperature today in degrees Celsius, that gives it a meaning, which means it is now information. Number 4. A project manager needs to take electronic files to a meeting with a client. What physical storage device, so an actual thing that you would use to carry data, could the project manager use to take these electronic files to the meeting? So it's no good talking about things like laptops or tablets or computers. Those are actual electronic computers. We're talking about a specific device you could use. Also, it's no good talking about hard disk drives because a hard disk drive is stuck inside the computer itself. The other one to watch out for is don't say USB. USB is the name of the socket that we use on the actual computer. So if we want to get a mark for this one, for number 4, we could say a USB stick. So that's the actual device itself. We could say a memory stick. Or if you wanted to talk about a hard drive, you could talk about a removable hard drive. But you must make it clear that it is something that can actually be carried. Or another one we could talk about is something like a CD. You could carry the data on a CD. Number 5. A cybersecurity company has been given permission to hack into a system to identify weaknesses. So one way in which companies sometimes test their security is to get someone else to actually check the security themselves. Let's press that. And by doing that, you get someone to actually try to hack in. What type of hacking is this? So this is the hacking that where you actually give someone permission to do the hacking. So black hat hacking is someone who is breaking into because they're a criminal. Grey hat hacking is someone who's breaking in because they just want to have fun. They're not doing it with permission, they shouldn't be doing it, but they're doing it because they want to have fun. The person who breaks in because you've asked them to do so, to check on it, is a white hat hacker. So literally, if you just wrote down white, you get a mark. They're a white hat hacker. Number 6. A denial of service cybersecurity attack has been carried out on the website of an online shop. What is meant by the term DOS? Now, obviously, we can't just write denial of service because that's in the question already. So what we need to do, just push that out there a little bit so you can see it. What we need to do is describe a denial of service attack. So what's it denying service to? Well, it's stopping you from getting to the website. How does a denial of service stop you getting to the website? Well, the way it's done is by the person carrying out the attack sending many messages to the website, far too many for it to be able to cope with. So we need to say something about the fact that you are flooding the website with requests. So we often, to do this, a hacker will often use a botnet where it takes over lots and lots of computers to do this. And this botnet sends thousands and thousands of messages all at the same time to the website, which eventually becomes too many, so which overwhelms it and stops it from working. So you'll get 1 mark for talking about flooding the website with requests, and another mark for saying that this overwhelms it and stops it from working. Just in passing, while I've got you there, notice that wherever there were 2 marks, we made sure that there were 2 things that we said. So in the data and information question, we talked about data that has been processed to give it meaning. So 1 mark, 2 marks. And in question number 6, flooding the website got us 1 mark, and stopping it from working got us the 2nd mark. Always, whenever you see 2 mark questions, make sure that you write down 2 things.